PAC. Siamo al PAC. Lei è Buhlebezwe Siwani, viene dal Sudafrica, da Johannesburg, e ha appena finito di portare avanti la sua commovente e fortissima performance dedicata a 12 femminicidi che sono avvenuti a Johannesburg e che l'hanno ovviamente lasciata senza fiato. La performance di questa sera ha costituito una sorta di reenactment, cioè di rievocazione di questi 12 femminicidi attraverso la sua voce e attraverso il suo omaggio a queste persone che ovviamente hanno perso la vita nella sua stessa città. So, Buhle, could you please tell us, for example, one of the stories that you collected that peculiarly impressed you so much?
Well, I mean, they're not impressive stories. They're just really, they're very sad. And I think one that really touched me a lot was the murder of Bongiwe Ninini, who was killed in Kailicha. The house that she lives in is a shack, and to go to the toilet they have to go outside where the whole community uses the toilet. And she went out to use the toilet with a friend of hers. Her friend left and she was left alone, and she was raped, and then she was pushed into the toilet, and then she was taken out of the toilet, which broke her neck, which is how she died. And then after that she was buried and left for dead, and her eyes were gouged out, so her eyes were taken out. Those are one of those stories that I encountered, but there are many stories that I've encountered which are similar. I mean, there was a 3-year-old who was raped by her uncle, and there's another 4-year-old who was raped by her mother's boyfriend, and then their bodies were just discarded in fields and found while, maggots are eating them. So, I mean, it's just thinking how it's tough to be a woman and alive, or to be a girl child and alive. And it's not a new thing. It's just that certain lives matter than other lives. So I'm just trying to get into the stories that don't make it to the papers, and some that make it to the papers but deserve the respect. We can take, for example, Ginevra Bria. Her murder made it to the papers, but the focus was on Oscar Pistorius, as opposed to the fact that Ginevra Bria had been killed, that she had been murdered, that she deserved dignity, that she deserved to have a life celebrated, that she deserved she deserved some sort of justice. She never got that. This man is walking free.
And which is your idea of justice? What would you think about women justice could do?
You see, me, I'm all for I don't think I should say it out loud. I think that perpetrators of these type of crimes should be castrated, because clearly it has to do with that part of the body. So if that part of the body goes, what can you do?
So, hidden the body, hidden the murder. Which is the witness?
This is the thing. There are sometimes witnesses, and sometimes there aren't any witnesses, which is, I think, a huge problem, because then witnesses take their time to say something. They don't say something right away when they see that something is wrong. They
shut their mouth.
And they are also, I feel like you can be a witness, but you can also be an accomplice. If you are a witness who says nothing, you are an accomplice to a murder.
So, is this a silence that could be used as a kind of a gun, or there's a silence that could be again against women? It could be something.
I think in some form, the world that we live in, because it's patriarchal, is just generally against women, and it's against cis-het women, it's against lesbian women, it's against transgender women, it's against queer women, it is against women. If you identify as a woman, the world is not for you. It's not a safe place for you to live.
Is it due to stereotypes in the mind of men that knows
I
that
don't
women
know that.
are weaker?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. All I know is that my lived experiences are different to other people's lived experiences, but we all have a collective experience as women.
So do you think that the community could be a good protector of women?
You can only protect someone so much. You can't do, you can do the maximum, but it only takes the minimum to get to someone. So, you can be a friend and you think that I'm safe with being with my friend. I can go to sleep at night with the same person I've been going to sleep at night with for 20 years, and he will end up being the one who kills me.
Yeah.
So, your only safety is relative, trust is relative. We live in that type of world.
So feeling at your ease does not mean you are protected at all.
Never. We are never protected. You walk out every day. Do you know what's going to happen to you?
You said.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Every day I walk out of the door of my house, I'm afraid. But I have to say, it's a brand new day, it's fine, let me go.
So the world is outside. But what's inside?
The world doesn't stop It doesn't stop outside. It comes into your house. Whoever you're with, whoever you're living with comes into your house. Whatever you come with from the world comes into your house. So you can't just stop it. You can't stop
living.
No. You have to live until, I don't know, there are people who decide. Recently I've become a hermit. I don't like going out because, there'll be people who grab you, people who touch you, people who want to talk to you. And if you don't want to talk to them, then it's a problem. So, you need to negotiate yourself around those bodies. I don't want to do that. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. I have better things to do. But I'm also afraid that if I say no to someone, what if, or we go on pretending that we can fix it?
No solution.
No, I don't offer solutions. I offer questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
maybe questions could represent a very first starting of a solution, or a principle
That's
of a
always
solution.
where you begin. If you always begin with questions, but nobody's asking questions. Everybody just accepts that someone is dead. You can't just accept that someone is dead. You have to question, why did they die? How did they die? Why did you do this? It's just, okay, we'll put you in jail, goodbye. After 5 years of good behavior, 10 years, you're out. After killing a 3-year-old that you raped, you are not okay. You're not an okay person. You cannot be out in society. But also, who am I to judge? I don't think human beings should judge each other. You don't have the right to put somebody else in jail, but that doesn't mean you have the right to touch somebody in the way that you touch them. So, I don't know.
You're just a mighty woman.
No, I'm just living.
But a privileged one. You just gave a spell and a word to something that we were not able to understand, or we were not able to catch as much as you caught. And due to your sensitivity, we are now witnesses as well of the violences that impressed you. So we thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us all of your experiences you brought to Italy for the very first time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.